All right, so apparently the whole cost of living crisis and everybody's struggling and credit card debt is all a bunch of hocus pocus, and Americans are doing just fine. So this should be fun.
I
I'm
don't
just
care
playing.
what anyone thinks. I think the idea that the average American is struggling and that everyone or most people are living paycheck to paycheck and that no one has any money saved and that no one can afford anything and that everyone who spends any kind of money is doing it all via a credit card, I think all of that's a lie. You can give me all the data you want, but I trust my natural instincts. I trust my own eyes over a lot of what I can't verify. All you have to do is go anywhere where you can spend money and you will see that it's packed. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Amusement parks, concerts, stores, restaurants, anywhere you can.
Even your own house, because so many people have roommates or like live with five people. Even that, even your house is packed. Yeah, no kids.
Spend money, there are people either there spending all their money or waiting in line to spend their money. How are you going to tell me that 90% of Americans can't afford to do anything when I see everyone always doing something that costs money? I'm not saying things aren't more expensive. I'm not saying inflation doesn't exist. I'm not saying that some people aren't struggling. I'm just saying these stats, they're not right. We've been hearing for years, oh, recession's coming. Oh, recession, recession, recession. We still haven't had a recession. Not to mention, a lot of the people who are currently struggling, they'd find a way to struggle in any economy. Doesn't matter how good or bad it is.
Burn. He's actually right about struggling in any economy. But to be fair, this is something that most people, when we find a lot of clips on TikTok, just people just sharing their lives and how much debt they're in and how just fucked they are, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm not rooting on their downfall. It's just kind of great that people will cry on camera and post it. I kind of think it's beautiful, actually. But most people aren't going to tell you their living situation when they're out and about. Here's a perfect example. Perfect example. One of my boys, we're not really friends anymore, but we were. He was doing really well for a while when he had two roommates. Then he said, hey, I'm older now. I want my own place. He went and got said place. So we're thinking from the outside looking in, he's fine. A year goes by. It turns out he couldn't afford the place. So another 6 months goes by. He ended up doing everything on credit cards. He had 7 credit cards. Now, how do I know this information? I'm his homie. He can trust me. And that's why I'm airing his business out to the world for you now to hear. My point is he can't afford his rent anymore, and he's $27,000 deep in credit card debt. Also, he had a drinking problem. Point is he hits me up and goes, hey, do you think I can rent one of your rooms? I said, I love you. Come on over. And he bailed completely on the apartment situation. But, yes, if we listen to what this guy says, this dude was one of the guys he is talking about, right? Me, for instance, 3 years ago, I was only making 50 grand a year. I took a pay cut. I left my job. I went to make less money. So I had the one jamoke we were just talking about come and rent a room from me in my house. And then I had another friend come and rent a room for me in my house. Now I'm maneuvering through the city as if I'm doing chill, which I was, but my rent was only $700 a month versus my normal $1,800 a month. Well, $2,000 a month with utilities, right? Because I had 2 people living with me at the time. So this is something that's more normal than not. It's not that they're not doing okay. It's if they were to be solo, they definitely wouldn't be doing okay. And even the one friend of mine, that none of these guys live with me anymore. It's just me and my girlfriend at my house. But both of them just drowning completely. And their rent was $700 a month. So, but you wouldn't expect it is what I'm saying. All right, here we go. A white man bitching from his nice car about the pores in the kind of person you... Wait. A white man bitching from his nice car about the pores is the kind of person who had parents who brought him up through an affluent area, sending him to private schools and attending events with the same small group of people so that he never actually had to interact with people who don't have resources. Yeah, you know, I actually was exactly who this person's talking about, except for I did go and live where it's normal for the two Mexican families to live in a 3-bedroom apartment, but there's 7 of them, but they're always smiling, driving nicer cars than us. You know that trailer park, Nestor, I drove you through?
Yeah.
Redneck Rich, where I live now. Oh, dude, double wide, but they got boats and shit, nice ass trucks, right? So when you see them around, they're doing great, but they're able to have the extra money because they're willing to live in the not so great trailer park. And don't forget the Mexican family I was talking about. I lived next to them for years. My people right here that live right next to me now, Middle Easterns, dude, there's like 7 of them motherfuckers living there. Yeah, 7, 3-bedroom house. But they're always smiling. They're doing great. It's the family working together and shit. I don't care what anyone thinks. Okay, hold on. Let's see. It's debt. They're not doing okay. Trust me. I've had friends say, I don't know how I'm going to afford rent, and then they post a concert the next week. People are faking it, drowning in debt. They just don't want to say it out loud. Yeah, I mean, people are going to start living their lives. It's another one of, and a lot of these friends I talk about, most of my friends are doing great. But these people I've known since I'm young. So one of my friends, early 30s, still lives with his mother. If he has $2,000 in the bank, he's rich, and he's ready for a trip to Spain. Literally. I'm not fucking kidding you. He still owes me $50, by the way. And I don't really care. I just basically gave him the money. My point is if you look at him, he's not going, when you talk to him, he's not going to say, oh yeah, I could afford all this because I live with my mother and I don't have any bills and I'm literally a grown man. That's just how it is. But there's plenty of these people out there. Or they have roommates, or they live at home with their parents, or they got something. It's I don't think this guy's full of shit. I think people are doing fine, but the only way they're doing fine is sacrificing all of the normal stuff. That's kind of where I'm getting at with that. Credit card debt just hit a record high this year. Yeah, I'm gonna say the credit card debt is a real thing. Also, most of us would not own homes and or any of these cars we're seeing right now is all mostly credit. Nestor, you know anybody dropping $35,000 cash on a car?
Nah.
I don't know them.
And if they say they do,
yeah, no, liar. No, or some people got it like that, but 9 times out of 10, it's credit. Not many people own their house outright, especially young people. So a lot of it's debt. I don't own my house. I'm paying it off. I think the truth is that most people can't afford those things and they do it anyways. Financial literacy is not very common. Most people go into debt over unnecessary purchases. Yep. Luxuries are cheap, but housing isn't. That's what I'm kind of getting at though. Right? I don't know too many people who are just living straight up by themselves that are doing fine. Usually you got to split the weight. Usually. Not everybody. There are circumstances, but I don't know. From my personal experience, the only way I ever got ahead in life was like thugging it out with 2 roommates or literally living at home. Yeah, one of those 2 things. I think that a lot of people have given up on the idea of owning a home or retiring, so they're just splurging instead. Yeah, you're not going to stop living your life. Even if you're why not rack up the credit card? Everyone's doing it. I think yesterday was extremely telling in my area. There were less than 25% of the amount of private fireworks. Oh, okay. We're not doing firework economics here. The economy is doing great. Inflation is down. Yes, you are right. People are spending money. I have a feeling people don't realize how much we are lied to. I'm going to go ahead and say one thing. I don't fucking know. But my parents, I was 18 when 2008 happened, and my parents seemed like everything was fine. My dad owned his own business, and that shit all kind of happened really fast. So this is kind of the same thing they were talking about then and there. But believe it or not, I'll leave the link to this guy down below. But believe it or not, even when my parents lost their house, or we lost our house, I was impacted by this too. And my dad's business went to shit and he never recovered. And my mom went from living a really nice house to living in a small little townhome, which poor us, right? I'm just saying everything was stripped from us. believe it or not, we still went out and did stuff. And we still enjoyed our lives. So I guess that's something positive. Anyways, I kind of agree with him to an extent. Nestor, you got anything you want to say? You good?
No, I agree.
All right. Hell of a talk. Shout out to everybody who bought some gold. The dollar's crashing. Link down below, Atlas Bullion. Also, everybody that bought a t-shirt, the Caddy Daddy Classic. If you want to spend your money frivolously, I've got a website. Sell it. I need a haircut. Sorry about the hair thing earlier. I thought it was funny.